The Lottery is one of the most controversial short stories ever written. It was written by Shirley Jackson in 1948 and published in the New Yorker magazine. When it first came out, it caused a huge amount of controversy. Many readers were shocked, disgusted, and even angry because of the story's ending. But when I think about it deeply, I don't see it as just a horrifying story. I think it's actually a very important and eye-opening story about society, tradition, and how people blindly follow things simply because they've always been done that way. The story takes place in a small town in old America. Every year, the town holds a ritual called the lottery. At the beginning of the story, children are outside collecting stones and piling them together. At first, this seems strange, but later we understand why they were doing it. It's a beautiful sunny day and the townspeople slowly gather together in the town square. Then a man named Mr. Summers, who organizes the lottery, arrives carrying a black box. The black box is placed in the middle of the crowd and the ritual begins. One person arrives late, Tessie Hutchinson, the main character. She comes in laughing and joking, saying she forgot what day it was because she was busy washing dishes. At this point, she seems completely relaxed and cheerful. She doesn't question the ritual at all. Then, Mr. Summers tells the head of each family to draw a paper from the black box. Everyone takes a paper, and after all the papers are opened, Tessie's husband reveals that his family has drawn the market paper. That means their family won the lottery. At first, Tessie had been joking and smiling like everyone else, but suddenly she starts panicking. She begins shouting that the process isn't fair and that they should do it again. Still, nobody reacts emotionally. The ritual continues as if this was completely normal. Now, every member of the Hutchinson family has to draw another paper to decide who the final winner will be. One by one, the family members open their papers. The children are safe. Tessie's husband is safe. Then Tessie opens hers. She has the market paper. Tessie is the winner of the lottery. At this point, she completely breaks down. She screams that this isn't fair, but nobody listens. The townspeople, including the children who collected the stones earlier, begin stoning her to death. That ending is what shocked so many readers, but to me, the story is about something much deeper than violence. It's about how society blindly follows tradition even when the tradition is cruel, meaningless, or harmful. The townspeople don't stop to question why they're doing this ritual. They only continue because it was always being done. Even when some towns nearby have already stopped the lottery, many people in this town refuse to change. One character, Old Man Warner, strongly supports the lottery because it has existed for as long as he can remember. He believes stopping it would destroy tradition. And honestly, this happens in real life too. People can grow up in a society where terrible things are treated as normal. If something has been repeated for generations, many people stop questioning it completely. Tradition becomes stronger than morality. The story also shows different types of people in society. There are people like Tessie who are perfectly fine with injustice until they become the victim. If another person had won the lottery, Tessie would probably have stayed smiling and gone home like everybody else. There are also people who quietly disagree with the tradition but are too afraid to stand against it. They know something is wrong, but they continue following the crowd because they feel powerless. And then there are people like Tessie's husband or Old Man Warner, who are completely devoted to the tradition. They don't question it emotionally at all. To them, the ritual matters more than a human life. That's what makes this story so powerful to me. It's not just a horror story. It's a story about society, conformity, fear, and how dangerous blind tradition can become. People will sometimes do horrible things simply because society tells them to do, or because they're afraid of standing outside of the group. And honestly, this is why the lottery is still relevant today. The story may seem extreme at first, but societies throughout history and even today still follow traditions that harm people simply because those traditions have existed for generations. For example, In some places around the world, child marriage is still practiced because families believe it is part of their culture, religion, or tradition. Young girls are sometimes forced into marriage at an age where they should still be living as children. Even when these practices clearly damage people's lives, many communities continue them because that's how it has always been. There are also traditions involving violence or harmful rituals that still exist in certain parts of the world. Some communities still practice honor killings, where a family member is punished or even killed for supposedly bringing shame to the family. Others continue dangerous initiation rituals or harmful ceremonies because questioning them is seen as disrespecting tradition. And the scary part is that many people involved in these systems don't even see themselves as evil, just like the people in the lottery. They grow up believing these actions are normal. When something is repeated for generations, people stop questioning it. Tradition becomes stronger than empathy. That's what makes Shirley Jackson's story so powerful. It isn't really about one town stoning a woman to death. It's about how society can normalize cruelty when people are too afraid or too comfortable to challenge what they always know. And even today, we still see people defending harmful ideas with the same excuse. It's tradition, it's our culture, it's how things have always been done. That's why the lottery is not just an old horror story, it's a warning. But the real question is, how do we stop things like this from happening in society? I think the first step is simply questioning things instead of blindly accepting them. A tradition should not automatically be considered good just because it is old. A lot of people grow up believing that older generations are always right, but history has shown us many times that societies can normalize terrible things for centuries before finally realizing they were wrong. If nobody questions harmful traditions, then nothing changes. In the lottery, almost everyone knows deep down that what they're doing is cruel, but nobody wants to stand against the crowd. They're afraid of being excluded, judged, or becoming the next victim themselves. And honestly, this still happens today. Many people stay silent about harmful practices because speaking against society is difficult. That's why education and open discussion are so important. The more people learn to think critically and ask why are we doing this, the harder it becomes for dangerous traditions to survive. A society only changes when enough people stop accepting something as normal. Another important thing is empathy. A lot of traditions continue because people stop seeing the victim as a real human being. In the lottery, the townspeople are completely normal people. They laugh, talk casually, and act friendly until it's time to kill someone. The moment tradition becomes more important than human life, society loses its humanity. And I think the story also teaches us that change usually starts with individuals. One person questioning something may seem small, but every major social change in history started because somebody decided to say, this is wrong. If enough people refuse to follow harmful traditions blindly, eventually society changes. And that's how many terrible practices from history slowly disappeared over time. So maybe the real message of the lottery is not just about violence or cruelty. Maybe it's warning us to never stop thinking for ourselves, because the moment people stop questioning society, tradition can become more powerful than morality. Anyway, that's my interpretation of the story. I'm not saying this is the only correct way to understand it. This is simply how I personally see it. Let me know what do you think in the comments. Did I miss any important details, or what do you think the story really means in your interpretation? And thanks for watching till now. I really love you. Bye.